Hi, YouTube. If we get interrupted, I'll just work through it or whatever it brings. But I hope you're all doing well today. I'm doing not too bad. Could be a little bit better, but I watched a documentary to see if I wanted to share it with everybody, and I do. It's from the Academy of Ideas, is the name of the channel. It's a documentary I shared in my community, but I'll tell you the name of it here. It is, I'm going to put the link in my description here. The Disturbing Rise in Parasites documentary. Why this is so important is because, like I've said many, many times, how the physical can become the mental and vice versa. But with parasites, there's even a worm they would consider like the mind control parasite worm, because there is an association with schizophrenia and worms in a person's brain. Now, the psychiatric community should be working more closely in tandem in a medical sense, like with a medical doctor and an emotional care, like the whole, like I talk about treating the whole person, the spiritual, the physical, the emotional, those types of things. Now, that leads me to believe that, you have like a reptilian part of your mind, you have your mammal part of your mind, and then you have your neocortex, which is your human part of your mind. It seems like with some mental illnesses, the mammal part of their mind is gone, and some of their neocortex, that they're not really in touch with their humanity. They're dealing more with the base from their reptilian mind. If we were functioning properly, we'd understand all of it there, but we really would be functioning mostly within our neocortex with our frontal lobes, for movement and speech and that type of thing. I mean, there might be some people that will debate this. Now, you can debate all you want, but I happen to know from head injury victims and being able to rebuild neurons and things within your mind, that no one human being is identical to another, and we cannot psychoanalyze everybody on the same scale. As a matter of fact, if somebody has parasites within their system, you can't psychoanalyze them at all, because they're really not who they were meant to be because of their illness. Now, is their illness mental or physical? I'm saying let's get down to the physicality with mental illnesses. What is the core issue to a person's illness? Parasitical? That leads me into another topic, which, and by the way, I do hope you watch this documentary. It's not even a half hour long. Like, take 25 minutes out of your life, and you might have even heard it before, but refresh yourself on this information I'm giving you, because it's true. And the satanic forces use physical ailments against people to control you, like with parasites. So, really, that's satanic. It's not of God. It's okay, let me reword that. God made everything. Satan's using certain things for ill will within people. And what if your free will was taken away because of something that was inside of you? People think, well, that's not possible, isn't it? Ask somebody that's schizophrenic that's done a body detox on a regular basis and they eat properly, not to feed those worms, and ask them how they feel after the right care and nutrition. Because I studied nutrition too. I used to put out yearly menus for the high schoolers in my school system when I worked in the kitchen. So I helped plan the menus for people's health. And we had the best football team in the state for a long time, the Fighting Saints. I think because they were eating good. They were healthy kids. You know, we had a pretty good band too. I mean, a lot of things. When people excel, what makes one person excel and another person not? You know? So, anyway. Yeah, there'll be a tiny bit of noise, but that's okay. Um, it was, my internet has been so strange. It just been taking forever to upload things. So, um, good morning. I am doing a video. Want to say hi? No, probably not. I don't know if he even heard me. But, or, yeah, still morning. Oh, no, it isn't. It's afternoon. It's 1:45. Well, 12:49. But anyway, so back to the point. What if you could feel better mentally and emotionally by looking into different types? 1 in 5 people in probably in the world, but I think they said the United States has some type of parasite within you. We do. That's all animals, even ones that people eat, are treated with antibiotics to keep people healthy, you know, which isn't always a good measure anyway, but healthy animals is probably a good thing, you know. But if you're going to consume them, you wouldn't want them full of worms, you know. So, especially pork, right? You seen what pork does out, like put pork out on a hot sidewalk, and how it just takes, pour Coke on it, and it just takes moments for the worms to start crawling out of it. That should tell you something, you know. It's really important, people. I have a fluke within my blood that the CDC cannot identify. They called it an unknown fluke, and that's when I started looking into Morgellons and things like schistosomiasis and different kinds of worms and flukes and parasites that people have within them. What if mental illness was catchy? Now, if you look at it like that, that brings a whole nother layer, a whole nother aspect into the mental health care that they're giving people. Why aren't these practitioners of the mind concerned about a person's physical health that could lead to their downfall, in their decline in their mental state? Why aren't the two of those combined? Why is the medical community and the psychological community not working together? And why, like a psychiatrist, why wouldn't they be concerned with your physical health if it could lead to your emotional or mental problem? You'd think they would be, because they're there to care for you. But they're not going to make money off you if you have a cure, are they? There's millions of therapists out there that are making money off of sick people, supposedly handicapped people, even, that could be treated physically, and they aren't even going there. Why aren't they? Why isn't the psychiatric community getting in touch with a person's physical state that can lead to their emotional state? Yeah, you'd think they would be, but they're not, because they're making money off it. That's why. Why tell people that there could be such a thing as, I'm going to write it down if I say it here. Just give me a minute. Here's a good, clear page. There's a certain thing that they call for horses. It's sold in some states for people. Let me see if I can get this on here. You see that? So, one more time, I hope you got it. And it does work. That's what it's for. And there's sulfate drugs that you can get that I used to get to dust my chickens with, and you can put it in their water. It's all sorts of things. I used to get, from a farm supply, and they're all over the place in the United States. You can actually get penicillin from a farm supply, if you need it. So, I mean, there's different things, and the mental health care community, they're not even going to go there with that, and the medical doctors don't want you to know that, because you could take care of yourself. Why would you need them if you could take care of yourself? Because they're making money off you. We know that with big pharma, but, typically a person used to think they could go to their doctor and get physical care. And then if it goes into your mental health and you go to your physical care doctor, they're going to give you something like antidepressants or something. If they can identify something that's wrong with you, and if you have like broken bones and you're depressed, this would be, or if you had all kinds of bad things going on in your life, that's not mental or physical. That's actual normal human reactions that we have within ourselves. These people really need to get in touch with the truth to help people, but they're not doing that. And that's disturbing and concerning to me. That's why I am pushing this whole care for people that they're not getting, because it is important. Of course, we know that we need to take care of ourselves, but in this video that I'm going to share, it even talks about people. You hear all these new age movements like grounding yourself, take your shoes off and ground yourself. If you're on the beach or you're by a swimming pool or something, yeah, absolutely. If you're in a warmer climate and you're running around in the grass, you're probably going to get parasites right up through the soles of your feet. And I told people that is not a good idea. And there is other ways to ground yourself, like with a copper wire from the ground into your home. You can actually, if you are so concerned about not being grounded, because if you're a well-rounded human being, you're probably kind of grounded. And psychologically, there has been studies that people that have psychiatric problems a lot of them actually have no faith in a higher being. Would that have anything to do with a person's mental state? I'm saying yes. There's a lot of other experts in the mental health field that believe the same thing. So, and it's like my video yesterday as far as their camaraderie. One hand washes the other. If one psychiatrist is going to make money, or psychologist, off of your illness, they wouldn't look for a cure for your betterment at all. They could just keep selling the same old rhetoric they've been selling for a long time. Not even touching on the toxins and the parasites and different things that we have in our lives that we have to combat. They won't go there because they're greedy and evil. Well, I think my pump is going to come on, and I really have made my point. Please watch that documentary. We need to make everybody in the world aware that mental health probably isn't something that it's not being addressed in the right way, and things need to change in a big way to help people. I might be back with, well, you know what? I'm going to wait a minute because I have some thoughts that I wasn't getting out clear there. Not that anything's ever intentional to try and stop my words from helping people. Oh, hell no. Why would that ever be the case? For over 6 years of doing this. Okay, wait a bit. We'll have a sip of coffee with our cigarette, okay? And if you don't smoke or drink coffee, I'll have this for you. Huh? Cheers. That's me. Don't forget it either. Just in case you wondered. Oh, speaking of that, I had somebody native on a post that I shared. It said that you can't, what was it? Oh, I'll look it up. Some people might not think it was funny, but it's dark humor, and I think it's funny. Let me see here. And it's freaking hilarious if you've ever been out on the wide open prairie, up on the mountains, or in the woods on a reservation where the Native Americans live. It said, there's a sign, and it looks like it really looks like it's in North Dakota somewhere. It said, Indians must not scalp tourists within 300 feet of the highway. I had somebody write, a native guy, imagine being indigenous to North America and still be called Indians. I wrote, or not having rule over our government and land. Not too funny, huh? Just remember that when you support wars in other country for people that claim land. Just remember the natives. If you have a moment of actual clarity within that. So back to the care with the parasites in the mental health community. That's a huge deal that psychologists and psychiatrists are not even looking into. Maybe it's even the parasite within themselves that is stopping them from doing the right thing, but they're unethical about the whole thing. That's the bottom line. They really are. Would you do that to somebody if they had an illness and they came to you? Say if they were schizophrenic and there was uh, uh, what would you call it? Like not experiments, but studies done on people with schizophrenia that when they're when they detoxed, when they ate right, when they weren't feeding those worms with sugars and carbs, and they started watching their diet, had a more rounded diet in their life, they saw an improvement in their mental health. Why isn't the psychiatric community concerned about that? I mean, that would be the number one issue. Why is somebody's physicalness affecting their mental abilities? That would be my number one thing as a practitioner and the counselor I am and the minister. I would be saying to the people I love, like I am, please look into these parasites, because this is what the dark force is using against everybody, and this is what the medical community, physical and mental, is not working in tandem to help you. In fact, the mental health community isn't working in that area at all. You will not go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and have them open their mouth and say, it sounds like you should detox. What is your diet like? What types of things do you do in your life that are probably bringing toxins into you, like carcinogens or. And by the way, there are some cultures that believe that nicotine is a healing thing, but, each to their own. So, whatever. It's like some people think like a glass of red wine is good for you. Like I say, each to their own and whatever. If I'm not harming you, you have no business in my business. If I'm not promoting bad behavior, like a narcissist making excuses that they can't control themselves. Oh yes, you can, and I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove evil for what it is, and someday the mental health community is not going to let these people skate by on their excuses. So, you just watch. You can think, well, you're all set, you're all cozy, you work in psychology, even if you wrote a book, and you have literature that is peer-reviewed. Yeah, who are your peers? Thinking just like you? Well, not all of us think like you do, right? It's like if you have a minister and one minister isn't going to speak about the 7 deadly sins and why they're called deadly. But then you'll have one that will. What's the difference between those two preachers? Is one a little more concerned about you as a soul? I'd say so. I'd say the one that digs a little bit deeper, even if it hurts, is probably the one that cares a little more. That's just my outlook, my observation. And I'm reviewed by my peers too. They're people of God. Well, holds no credence to the dark force, but it will. So it really is a thing. I know that, what's it called? The Willing Witness channel used to be called Derek Bros, or what was it? Global Witness. He was going to do a thing on mind control and worms and that type of thing. And then his girlfriend and him got sick, and they're in Mexico right now and whatever. But there's a whole lot more to it, as far as why just touch on the subject and not do like I'm doing, like tell people how to cure things. As you're talking about it, the more you talk about it, the more people hear it, the more they're going to look into it. So just keep speaking about it, that it is a real thing, that the physical can affect our mental, and the mental health community is overlooking that mental illness can actually be catchy from parasites. True thing. True thing. We all know if we're not feeling well, we do not act like ourselves. Just think about that if you're infested with worms. What if you could lose weight just by realizing you had a parasite within yourself? Nobody wants to think that, right? I had something put in me and on me. So did my youngest son. When this fluke, I had chunks of my skin taken out. They took plugs out of my skin and sewed me back up, and scraping on my scalp, but 2 different plugs in 2 different areas, and a scraping that they sent to the CDC. And this was a long time ago, and I've looked into this for over 2 decades now, and I can thoroughly explain things better than, say, like Derek Bros from Global Witness. He's also had a parasite within his stomach that they had to remove. So he's fully aware of the whole thing. It's just, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to help people? You know, that type of thing. So, yeah. So if you're into the field of psychology and you really care about people, might want to start looking into physical ailments that become mental, those two together, and do things right. Do it ethically. Don't worry about your money and your greed. God will take care of you. But if you have no faith in that, you're going to have to go with the dark cabal, and I'm going to have to smash you, metaphorically, or whatever. Whatever it takes to shut you people like you vile creatures that don't care about others. And I don't give what mental illness you think you have that you're using for your cold ways. You got it? I'm gonna stop you. All of you like that. And people like me, we're gonna make other people. There is way more of us than there is anybody from the dark force. It's just that a lot of people don't know or are afraid. But you don't have to worry about anything. It will be okay. And we can work together and work through this and do it the right way, ethically for people, morally, not giving a skate and a pass to things that are not moral. So, well, that's probably about it for today. I'm glad I got that all out. I do believe I did. The link will be in the description, or it's over on in my community for and then I forgot it again. Oh, the disturbing rise of parasites. And it's also true. Please, please, please look into it. I tried to share some information with a guy for his mom that had a stroke, and a lot of diabetics have parasites with them, then gut problems and different things like that, because like leaky gut syndrome, it's a lot of it connected to parasites. Different. You could have several different types in you, like horses usually do. So, okay, everybody. I mean, it's typical. So do dogs and cats. That's why we worm them. But so do we, especially if you have pets or you sleep with your pets or that type of thing. It's a really big deal. Look into it, please, for everybody, and share the information. And give me a like if you liked my video. Hey, is it going to kill you? I have certain people that I have subbed to. I always like people's videos when I watch them. If I take the time to watch them, I'm going to like it. So go ahead and let your ego override that. But there's some people that I'm going to unsub from doing spring cleaning, because my kindness has overloaded itself for other people's sake when they wouldn't do the same for me. And guess what? My information and knowledge is way more important than a lot of people that I give credence to. So, all right, everybody, have a beautiful week ahead. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. I love you all. Thank you for joining me.